Inflation and the Effects on the Poor by me. What is inflation? In simple terms, inflation is the decline of purchasing power of a given currency over time. Inflation can be seen as both a good thing and a bad thing, as it can increase consumer demand and consumption, which creates economic growth, but can be terrible for the poor. A family that has low income will be hit harder by inflation because the price of rent is increasing more than minimum wage. Since rent takes up such a large portion of their income, inflation will just make things more difficult. Also, people saving money in bank accounts will have their money lose value, as interest rates aren't high enough to keep up with inflation. This is a graph showing the average home prices in Ontario from March 2020 to January 2022. And as you can see, the prices for homes have gotten really high lately. What would increase inflation? I think there are three main reasons for the rise in inflation. The first would be an increase of money flowing in the economy. The purpose of increasing the supply of money is to give consumers more money, but the already existing currency loses its value. The second problem will be an increase in production costs for things like raw material or wages. The production costs increase, but the demand remains. There will be a decline in production. Since companies have to pay more for production, the supply of goods will also decrease. That means companies will increase the cost of goods for the consumers. For example, the supply of oil is declining, so the prices for it have started to rise. The third reason is the demand for a product. If a product has high demand, the price of the product will most likely rise. The availability of the product will also decrease, so companies can easily raise the price without much of a problem. Why did the situation get so bad? Well, according to Stats Canada, in March, Canadian consumer prices increased 6.7% over 1 year, which was 1% higher than the gain in February, which was at 5.7%. This is the largest increase since January 1991. I think that the pandemic is the main reason for why inflation had dramatically increased lately. Supply chains have been disrupted, and unexpected events like the truckers' convoy have led to goods not being transported on time. For example, the sanctions on Russia have led to oil and gas prices surging, and the current price of gas is 1.60 cents per liter, which is over double the price back in April 2020, which was only at 77 cents per liter. Also, since the pandemic caused a lockdown for around a year, people didn't spend money on vacations or make any big investments like buying a home. If anything, the economy got worse as a lot of small businesses closed down. Now people are more ready to spend lots of money on homes and make other big investments after saving it for a year. In February 2022, the average price of a home in Ontario increased by 26% in a year to $1.1 million. The average price was only $865,000 a year before. Well, why have wages not increased to deal with the problem? It's because corporations are exploiting newer immigrants or the poor. Immigrants have been hired to low-paying jobs, and they can't refuse as they may not have an education or a stable income. This is a graph showing the inflation percentage from January 1990 to January 2022 for both of the US and Canada. As you can see, Canada has been really getting high, and it's the highest since January 1991, and the US has somehow gotten even higher. So how would we slow down inflation? I think there are three things they could try and do. The first method would be to increase interest rates. If interest rates increase, people will be less likely to take out loans. That means less spending and drops in price for goods. The only potential problem with this is people still paying mortgages for homes will be kind of screwed, as they probably plan to buy the homes with a specific rate in mind. Another option would be to reduce the amount of money in the economy. The government could do that by calling in debt that is owed to the government. The last method is to start printing less money. But that comes with the risk of starting a potential recession in the economy, and sometimes that just doesn't work at all. So I don't really think there's a clear way to slow down inflation. Inflation will definitely happen unless your economy is terrible. And even if we did everything or try to do everything possible, inflation mostly happens due to unexpected events like war or random like pandemics. So these are my citations in MLA format.